It is a book dedicated to the venerated memory of Sheikh Abdurrahman Elish el-Kabir. Syncretism is something outward. The elements taken from any of its quarters and put together in this way can never amount to anything more than borrowings that are effectively incapable of being integrated into a doctrine worthy of that name. To apply these criteria to the present context of the symbolism of the cross, syncretism can be recognized wherever one finds elements borrowed from different traditional forms and assembled together without any awareness that there is only one single doctrine, of which these forms are so many different expressions or so many adaptations related to particular conditions related to given circumstances of time and place. Synthesis, on the other hand, is carried essentially from within, by which it properly consists in envisaging things in the unity of their principle. Synthesis will exist when one starts from unity itself and never loses sight of it throughout the multiplicity of its manifestations. This moreover implies the ability to see beyond forms and an awareness of the principal truth. Given such awareness, one is at liberty to make use of one or another of those forms, something that certain traditions symbolically denote as the gift of tongues. The concordance between all traditional forms may be said to represent genuine synonymies. It is therefore far from belonging peculiarly to the Christian tradition, and the cross, like any other traditional symbol, can be regarded according to manifold senses. Far from being an absolute and complete unity in himself, the individual in reality constitutes but a relative and fragmentary unity. The conception of the universal man establishes a constitutive analogy between universal manifestation and its individual human modality, or, to use the language of Western Hermeticism, between the macrocosm and the microcosm. That sign is the sign of the cross, which very clearly represents the manner of achievement of this realization by the perfect communion of all states of the being, harmoniously and conformably ranked, in integral expansion, in the double sense of amplitude and exaltation. In fact, this double expansion of the being may be regarded as taking place horizontally on the one hand, that is, at a certain level or degree of existence, and vertically at the other, that is, in the hierarchical superimposition of all the degrees. Thus, the horizontal direction represents amplitude, or integral extension of the individuality taken as basis for realization, and the vertical direction represents the hierarchy, likewise and a fortiori indefinite, of the multiple states. Furthermore, the symbol of the cross can also be considered in two basic ways, so-called horizontal and vertical, as it appears in the double consideration of a first cross obtained, in the ecliptic plane by joining the equinoctial and solstice points, and a second cross, orthogonal to the first, defined by the equator and the line going through the poles. The tridimensional cross obtained that way is linked to the six directions of space and the center of the cross, through a symbolism that appears notably in the Hebraic Kabbalah in relation to the mystery of unity, and also in Clement of Alexandria, and the Hindu doctrines as well. In the Far Eastern tradition, the central point is called the invariable middle, Qingyin, which is the place of perfect equilibrium, represented as the center of the cosmic wheel, and is also, at the same time, the point where the activity of heaven is directly manifested. This invariable middle is also the locus of peace in the void, corresponding to what Islamic esotericism calls the Great Peace. Another aspect of the symbolism of the cross identifies it with what various traditions identifies as the tree in the midst, one of the numerous symbols of the world axis. This tree stands at the center of the world, or rather of a world, that is a domain in which a state of existence, such as the human state, is developed. Besides, the horizontal cross is directly in relation with the polar symbolism of the swastika, a truly universal symbol which represents, particularly in India, the action of the principle on the manifestation, and which is in no way related to the artificial and even anti-traditional use of the swastika by the German racialists who have given it the fantastic and somewhat ridiculous title of Hakenkreuz or Hanked Cross and quite arbitrarily made it a symbol of anti-Semitism.